selection choices between NoX Gaming and Merciless Gaming. NoX is going to start out on attack as Merciless is going to start on defense.
And then you see it, the Jackal, Twitch, Sledge, Thatcher, and Hibana. Jackal, like you talked about earlier, making a show for NoX. Pretty interesting that he is seeing play on a map like Oregon, which is, it's so easy to compartmentalize the roamers. I mean, you don't necessarily need him as an operator. That's what he's proficient at doing, is hunting down those roamers, and he doesn't really need to, it's not necessary in that regard for this map. But they are going to bring him regardless. They do not even have a glass to couple with those smoke grenades. Merciless Gaming, meanwhile, will have Valkyrie, Bandit, Smoke, Jaeger, and Mira, brought to the board. Might see those mirror windows placed in the big kids room, as we have seen done before. Yep, there it is, the mirror window going into the big kids room. That's going to be utilized by one of the Merciless defenders on a heavy roam to the west side.
Now, digging more into Jackal, because again, NoX Gaming seems to be the team that picks him the most. Have you worked with him much and know more about his PDW versus his assault rifle? And the different
the PDW is going to kill people faster if you're aiming for the torso. The the rifle is going to kill people faster if you're aiming for the torso. The PDW is going to kill a lot more people a lot faster if you're aiming for the head. It really just comes down to what kind of a player you are. Both of them have pretty negligible recoil, but I'd say a lot of people, obviously in professional play, I've seen most players prefer the rifle. But in ranked play or just in general, I'd say the PDW sees a lot more play.
Gotcha. We did just see Nov move on forward outside of the dining, back into kitchen after getting droned on out.
You see the PDW coming out for Sexy Cake. That's pretty much mostly due to the fact that it has 50 bullets. And with 50 bullets, I mean, you can kill 5 guys. Much less reload time going on for NoX 2, as well as it's not like an LMG where you have to spend a couple seconds, 10 seconds reloading. It just, a mag reload like every other gun.
We're going to have this drop hatch getting opened up. The Valkyrie cam spotting that out very nicely. Cyber moving in forward with his drone back from the red tower stairs, moving in towards the B site. He's seeing it all clear for the most part.
Yeah, it does seem like it's just going to be an A take from NoX Gaming straight onto that lobby drop down, and that's a pretty common take that comes out from the majority of teams on Oregon for a basement attack. So no real surprises coming out for NoX, no real innovations as of yet. However, we might see some of that come out later on, say using this angle to go ahead and lock down the roam game, but he was not conscious of the fact that Novi's was roaming inside the top of the tower, and that will pick off Sexy Cakes, as it doesn't seem like, well, basically a base was skipped there and nobody droned that out on the NoX Gaming lineup. And despite the fact that nobody droned that out, we're down to 1 minute left to go. And because of the fact that nobody droned that out, we are down to a 4 versus 5 for NoX Gaming. So 2 mistakes made from NoX Gaming, resulting in now them being at the disadvantage, but they are going to be creeping their way in here on the north side.
They're going to go in for the plant right now. Lipe moving in forward into the B site to get this plant down. 45 seconds to go, and plant will be successful. You do have members from MG trying to get back on. Looks like the head of Noves are going to be picked on off by Hughes, and you got PX swinging on forward. Lipe will take out Midi. PX will also fall to Lipe, and now his last man alive is going to be Bo. And as he comes swinging in, he will take out the shots there onto Cyber. He's got 2 more to go. It's going to be Hugh and Lipe. Gas grenade going to come on out. Now 1 puff of the gas smoke there will finish off the Thatcher. That's Lipe going down, potentially. But with 1 gas grenade left, I assume that's going to go over the bomb site and in towards box. We could see this go in favor here of Boar, but he's got to look closely. The Claymore kill will not land as the FAMAS comes swinging around from Hugh to finish off Boar for the count. Now NoX Gaming will take on round number 1 after a very swift and decisive renegotiation and realignment of their attacking.
So a bunch of pretty big mistakes coming out for NoX Gaming, but a lot more substantial mistakes coming out for Merciless Gaming, as Merciless overlooked the entire B bomb site as a whole. And because of that, NoX kind of just waltzed on in and got the diffuser plant. And that's what there is to talk about that round. Fun round to start things off here, and now we are going to be seeing an upstairs defense coming out for NoX to start their first round here off, instead of preferring the basement, which is what Merciless opted for.
I mean, I don't think we should overlook the fact that they, like you said, they were going for that front lobby push. It looked like they were going for the standard, okay, we're pushing down main stairs into the bomb sites.
Kind of faked it out.
But they did fake it out because Hugh got the the information. He droned out the back tower, droned on out, and yes, he did miss the attic hole moving in between the two sites, or between the top floor. But ultimately, once he got that information that, hey, there's 2 pieces of barbed wire and no one's in sight, we can take this push. You saw instantly that communication come on around, and NoX renegotiated themselves.
Good adaptation from NoX. Now Merciless Gaming are the ones who have to bring things back here, but they do have a good chance to do that, as they will be attacking onto a top floor defense. We'll see if they choose to go for a Master Armory take, or a Tower B window take, or just a West take. There are going to be mirror windows set up to counter the Armory Master, so hopefully for Merciless they're going to opt to do something a little bit different. This Armory presence from NoX Gaming is going to be wasting a lot of time if, again, Merciless choose to go for the Armory take, but it looks like it's going to be a West Side take. We have seen this West Side take fail time and time again from multiple different teams, and we'll see if it's enough for Merciless Gaming to bring it, to go ahead and make this work, or if it's going to be a repeat of what we saw yesterday coming out from North America for Flipside.
You saw right where Cyber was standing, that's where Ash is blowing up the floor. That's Nose. Now he's going to toss the flashbang up there, but it doesn't work. Misses its target. Yeah, second one will also miss. There
was no control from NoX Gaming put downstairs into the kitchen. Oh, wow, look at that. What a shot from Navi's onto Sexy Cake, picking him off on the angle that was meant to kill Navi's.
Mira's head may have seen a couple bullets that she wasn't expecting to, so 1.5 minutes underway, and we still have a 5-on-4. Navi's still trying to close down the kitchen corridor here.
Again, yeah, we talked about this earlier. NoX Gaming, wow. Hugzord getting picked off by PX.
Life's going to be peeking up, or peeking down from that armory doorway, and that will be picking off Navi's. We've got a 4-on-3, and looking at Cyber and Saya. Saya's over here moving in towards the kitchen. Now, he does have C4 in hand, so he will be able to throw it up from underneath, but it doesn't look like it's going to necessarily be too useful because the push is not coming from those north windows. Light is going to try to get back on the site as he challenges Midi. Now the gas grenades are going to force him to go back down the stairs, and looks like some more bullets coming in from Saya behind him. That's going to kill off Midi, and Boar will get downed and finished off by Cyber. A 2-on-2 now here, back in favor of NoX Gaming. C4 is going to go flying out. Unfortunately, that won't kill off any member here from Merciless. You've got PX and RCK, last 2 alive. RCK with Diffuser is going to be coming into the big window. Looks like the Blackbeard play is going to be on the north repelled window. Shotgun going to come on out. Cyber moving forward. Shotgun kill onto 1. He's going to hop out the window here momentarily to try to get the kill there onto PX. Or he's going to stay put. There it comes, and shotgun kill to the feet will finish off. PX goes down by the shotgun by Cyber, and we are going to have round 2 go in favor of Merciless.
Of NoX.
Sorry, of NoX, sorry. You're correct.
So NoX now up 2-0. NoX successfully defending their top floor. Well played to them. They, so what happened there, guys? What happened? Why did Merciless Gaming, unfortunately, lose an attack where they had the man advantage and they had the pressure advantage, they had the momentum, everything was going in their favor, they had full control? What happened? So, they attacked from the west side, and we have seen the west side attack where the attacking squad forces out control over meeting, or sorry, not over meeting, rather over kitchen, and then starts to open up holes underneath, and then pressures into the through the west, or sorry, the west big window and the white stairs. We have seen that exact attack time and time again be unsuccessful through multiple different teams, and the times where it is successful is more often than not because the squad has successfully opened up holes underneath the right spots in the site and picked off the anchors, but more because they picked off the roamers who would be playing in the kitchen. But because NoX Gaming had no roamers in kitchen, they didn't lose any manpower directly through that, and all they had to do was get that flank off later into the round and have at least just one anchor stay alive, which managed to clutch out the round.
Yeah, that was Saya with that late roam through kitchen, and ultimately it was very successful as it took off, I think it was Midi from the back stairs.
Yeah. And just in general, everything aside, we have the West take just does not work. I've never actually seen it consistently work for a team. You know, not like we've seen a B window tower take work or a armory master take work. Most of the time, when you're trying to take control of those the kitchen, again, if you're doing that, it only really works if there are defenders hard holding inside of the kitchen, whom you can pick off and establish command advantage over.
I believe that was Cyber on top of the roof, looking in towards attic, right at the spot where we saw Navi's just relocate himself to. There it is, Cyber trying to put a couple bullets into Navi, but he's going to evade them all and get back onto site. Actually, get back on to the top floor, not necessarily on the site.
Yeah, very hard roam coming out from Merciless Gaming on this top floor, and it is in fact a basement defense right now. Sexy Cakes has established control over Armory, though. This is going to be a good spot for him to start to make a push onto these roamers.
Here's the second Jackal footprint coming on out. That's going to identify, we won't necessarily see it, but it's going to identify at least someone on this top floor.
It was MIDI.
Was it MIDI? Okay. So MIDI is being identified. Now, the tick of that Jackal indicator, I believe, is every 5 to 10 seconds. I forget off the top of my head what that count is, but it's a single ping and doesn't necessarily follow him throughout the time, just every single 3 times for 5 or 10 seconds apart.
Yeah, and eventually he will, because of that, know that MIDI has fallen back off of this top floor. As soon as his teammates Jordan out, he'll know that the rest of the defenders have as well. The C4 going to come up from underneath, not going to find any targets, but the Valkyrie is starting to get that flank off. Lipezord, meanwhile, will pick off Boar, and Boar will trade things back onto Hugzord.
There is the refrag from Navi's as he swings back up after dropping through the hatches to come back around. Cyber's going to get RCK, and another trade from PX will finish off Cyber. 3 on 2. You've got Lipe and Saya, last 2 alive here. 30 seconds to go. Diffuser in the hands of Lipezord. And Saya moving his way down the back red tower stairs. Again, we're going to see this push come on in. Mirror window's going to get opened up here by Navi's.
Not a whole lot of time, though, even after they open up that mirror windows, and now it's just a 1 versus 3.
Looks like Navi's, his feet were not seen just yet.
Oh no,
Saya doesn't see him. There goes a kill. There's zone 1. He's going to move on over. He doesn't have time for the plant. He's going to try to go for 2 kills. Doesn't see anybody, so he's going to go for the plant right now, but can't even start it in time. And the round will go to the defenders here. Merciless finally picking up 1 round.
So he couldn't have possibly known that he could have just planted the diffuser there, but unfortunately, because he didn't go for it, he missed the shot anyway. Now, NoX Gaming will lose their first round to Merciless as Merciless manages to win that basement defense. And what happened there is, well, the time ticked away for NoX Gaming. They didn't get aggressive enough onto their take. They spent too much time hunting down the roamers upstairs, trading back and forth with those roamers, and because of that, Merciless Gaming just kind of stalled out the round.
Now we are going to see come up out of NoX Gaming the Frost play, which typically this is the map that you would see a Frost on if you were going to see a Frost.
Well, I mean, I don't know if this is the definitive map or anything like that, but yeah, Frost play coming out for NoX is kind of a surprise. I mean, they're, again, the team that surprises us, if there's any team that will. And yeah, I am surprised. Frost is really cool to see, though.
Well, Frost isn't necessarily an odd pick here. We've seen the 3 placements of the Frost mat traps on the bottom floor. You've got the far laundry basket, the close, and as well as the drop hatch into the lobby of the A site. And on top floor, you typically have them on the north windows.
She's a really good operator aside from just her bear traps. Her gun is fantastic, and she's 2 armor, 2 speed, which means she wins a lot of engagements just straight up. If you're going for the torso, especially as an operator, but yeah, no, Frost is surprising, but not shocking or anything like that. Really cool to see. This is some aggressive play here coming out from Navi's onto the construction hallway, and it will result in Navi's death, as he does not have a teammate with him to cover the main hallway, and we will have the smoke peek out around the corner.
But here we have it now with 2 roamers up top for NoX, or 3 roamers. You're going to have Frost on the main floor, Hughes and Sexy Cake going to be topside.
Yeah, control of the tower has fallen already to Merciless Gaming, and it does look like they're setting themselves up for a north side attack, but there are 3 players right now outside the construction tunnel, and having, you know, the Ashe already previously pushed her way all the way into that tunnel, and you're still spending time outside. It's a lot of time being wasted away here for for Merciless Gaming on this take.
Now, one of the things you can notice there about Frost and the attachment that she has on her 9mm SMG is the fact that she's using the angled grip. And I think that might be the only attachment that's allowed.
Yeah, you can only use the angled grip.
But the speed at which you can watch that ADS happen is immensely quick, quicker than most other guns in the game at the moment.
Yep.
And that's going to allow you to get an upper hand in those gun engagements.
Plus, the gun has basically no recoil by default, so we wouldn't even need a vertical grip, even if you could use one. Here comes this collapse from Merciless Gaming onto the back end, onto that tower. This is where they're going to have to contend with these gas canisters, and only 51 seconds left to go. That is going to be a difficult task. The mirror window looks like it's going to be opened up by the Habana, and that's still not a lot of control that the Merciless have established.
There's some gas grenade that's going to actually possibly finish off PX if he doesn't get out of it in time. Nope, there it goes. That will finish him down. That's the gas grenade coming out of Cyber. Boar will take off the body shots onto Hugzord, and that will take him out to try to even out man count, but it's 3 on 4 at the moment. 20 seconds left to go. The push from MG is going to be in towards B. Looks like Mini's taking quite a bit of bullets as his para starts spitting out bullets here towards Leipzord. Now Leip will finish off Mini, and we've got 2 members left from the attack squad left alive. It's going to be Boar and RCK. RCK will be removed from battle as Boar's last man alive. He's going to be here in the back hallway. He takes out 1. He's got 2 more to go, but he cannot get it as the MP7 comes swinging around from Sexy Cake to take Boar's head off.
NoX reestablishing that previously known dominance and putting it now at 3-1. A good defense from them. An interesting attack from Merciless Gaming. The way the Merciless tried to take that was similar to what we've been seeing a lot of lately onto a basement defense on Oregon, which is take red tower, take big tower, take construction hall, push in through both simultaneously, and try to get the defuse plant. But it was not enough for Merciless Gaming this time. Now NoX going to be going back on to attack Merciless Gaming onto defense, and Merciless will opt to defend the top floor.
We're going to see Cyber come out with the IQ pick, which we've seen from other teams such as Flipside in the past, but still not yet into the, I'd call it the core operator selections that many teams utilize.
Yeah, IQ is interesting. She can get rid of a lot of utility for the defending squad. She can do things like get the Valkyrie cameras or shoot through floors or ceilings and take care of windows, or sorry, not windows, excuse me, cameras or mute charges. But overall, she's not as useful as a lot of other operators, and she doesn't have the same frag potential that someone like Ashe does. She's very similar to Ashe, though, in that sense, with the 3 speed and the good gun. It's just not quite the same, especially given that she cannot clear... well, actually, no, she can't clear barbed wire with those grenades. But she still doesn't see a lot of play. Bad timing there from Nami's, unfortunately, not going to get that kill. Yeah, it's actually kind of weird that IQ doesn't see as much play as you would expect her to with those grenades being added. That was actually a long time ago when she got that buff, too.
Yeah, she really hasn't had too much of a change recently. I know there was an issue that got fixed recently with her, but other than that, there's been not much of a buff or nerf towards her.
Yeah. She's got a very specific purpose, though, on this take. It's to get rid of Valkyrie cameras that will be outside, and there are a lot of Valkyrie cameras that get thrown outside on Oregon, so...
Now we are going to be witnessing here from NoX. Looks like a north window take might be ensuing here. They are working towards the big windows on the west side of A site. However, if they are going to want to get inside of the kids' dorms, they're going to have to actually be very careful of a push out from Navi's.
They're likely to have 1 or 2 operators cover that, but it looks like it might just be a diffuser plant with this smoke cover right now.
Just going right on inside now. This plant looks like it might be successful as there is a lot of smoke and a lot of gunfire going on. RCK will take down Saya, but will get downed in the process. Diffuser is very successfully planted here inside of the corner of A site. You see Sexy Cake using that vision. Now, right at the moment, that's not going to be too much. And there it is, the PDW going to get the shots, the double kill on the midi Novies.
Oh!
RCK as well, the double, the triple kill, the triple headshot as he finally gets taken out by that PX. You said it earlier, that PDW can take out 5 members. We see it doing 3 right there. You've got Light, Cyber, and Hughes, last 3 alive here for NoX Gaming, and PX is going to have to kill them all and destroy that diffuser all in about 17 seconds if he wants to get this victory for his team. If not, we're going to see NoX Gaming go up 4-1. Now Lightsword comes swinging around the big window here, and that is going to be it for MG. It's now 4-1. A deficit by 3 points on your first map is not something that you want to see yourself get into.
Okay, so that was a really cool attack strategy coming out from NoX Gaming, I have to say. So let's pick it apart. Let's see what they did. Step number 1 was they had an IQ brought to the field, and normally you would see the IQ used on this particular map just to take out cameras like on the windmill, for example, just to make sure you know you have the coverage. But what we saw that IQ doing was she was looking for in-sight cameras to tell if they had any cameras ready to cover and see that diffuse plant going down, which would prompt Merciless Gaming to try and stop the diffuse plant. But because they spotted out there were no cameras, and if they did spot any, they destroyed them. Then step number 2 was, hey, have the Jackal ready with those smoke grenades, and to go in, cover the plant with the smoke, and just, yeah, get the diffuser down. Now, because there were no cameras in the site, there was nobody playing directly in the site, and you can't really play inside A, that resulted in the diffuse going down without any direct challenge coming out from Merciless Gaming because they didn't know what was happening. Which is, I like that strategy from NoX. That was really nifty. You don't often see attack strategies that utilize smoke anymore. They've kind of been phased out given the indirect nerf to Glaz by removing them from Thermite and removing smoke grenades, that is, from Thermite and Ash. And now that and seeing NoX utilize smokes that are on Jackal, that was really cool to see. Now 4-1 match point for NoX Gaming. They're looking to lock this out here and move on to map number 2. Merciless Gaming having a really tough go of it here.
We are going to see Merciless, though, working their way from small tower. We can see Navi's trying to hop on inside. He's got drones ahead of him, RCK, as well as I believe that was Midi or PX droning forward.
You can see all these little holes that NoX has opened up down into the garage, down into the hallways, just to try and get a couple picks onto players who are pushing in and not looking up.
Now, Sexy Cake might try to re-go for this peak, which I think last time Navi's came out ahead of.
Yeah, Navi's did come out ahead last time on that angle, but regardless, NoX Gaming still came out on top in the engagement later, in the round in general.
Now there it is, Sexy Cake does go for that re-peak, however, he will not get his head taken off, nor will he get a kill of himself.
And you can see here, Merciless Gaming going for the same exact attack strategy that did not work for them last time. No real great variation here, and while they have established control over Kitchen, yet again, no roamers have been picked off yet. There is no direct roamer cover coming out from Merciless Gaming, seemingly as of this moment, and half of the round left to go for this attack. They haven't even taken control over the top of White Stairs, so it's looking pretty bad here for Merciless Gaming to start things off here in this possibly final round.
Yeah, now that Cyber realizes he's getting droned out from these back stairs. You saw him toss out his first gas grenade. That's going to thwart the push here from Midi. He's on the back of the stairs. Now he did spot the head there of Sexy Cake. Sexy's going to go re-peek this. Nade's going to come swinging up there and unfortunately will not tag all of Sexy Cake. Looks like an ADS may have prevented any explosion happening. Hughes still going to be inside of the middle corridor facing the master bedroom, which fortunately for him, it doesn't look like anyone's going to go up that way. Navi's, however, is ready to go for this push, and the SMG-11 comes out long and strong to finish off Navi's. PX there to take on the trade, though. However, Midi hasn't met his fate, and a couple bullets will go his way.
Yeah, but you can see Merciless, all they really have here is these white stairs. They aren't even pushing in through the main west lobby here, and yeah, as you can see, we are going to have the Mute come from behind to pick off 2 players on Merciless Gaming.
We also have Sexy Cake, who has dropped in from the site. Now we do have site control in the hands of RCK. He's moved over through A into B. The Valkyrie camera, though, going to give some indication that the diffuser is going to go down here. A 2-on-3 now, 15 seconds left to go. There are 2 members up. The C4 from underneath by Saya will finish off RCK. That's also diffuser down. Lightstar going to try to go for the 3rd K on the board, but does not land it. 5 seconds left to go. Board's got to move himself into the Kid Storms. Go for this plant with 2 members left on NoX Gaming here. We are going to see Saya try to get himself inside of the site. Go for the kill, but not get it. It's a 1-on-1 now, and Boar now needs to figure out where is Sexy Cake coming from. He saw, or at least heard, some shots from underneath, so he knows that he's not necessarily on site just yet. He's going to hold a soft angle onto this back stairwell. Now, if there's some cams in place that his team's going to get some information on, that could be just what this team needs, what Merciless needs to get this clutch here. If not, Sexy Cake might come out on top with the 3 armor, but the headshots are coming through. No, the flick by Sexy Cake!
What?
Woo, that was sexy, baby! And that is going to be it for map number 1. Oregon will go in the hands of NoX Gaming.
Sexy Cake is insane. That was ridiculous. I was like, oh, yeah, you're going to see Capitao secure the kill here, and we're going to move to the next round. Nope, Sexy Cake just went ahead and snapped. That was insane reaction time there from Sexy Cake. I am so sad that we're not going to get to see that shot.
I think one of the things to take away from that, though, is that, yes, you can be a 1-speed, 3-armored operator, but you can still flick and turn as quickly as a 3-speed, 1-armored operator.
Yeah, still able to make those plays. Some really great gameplay there coming out from NoX. Absolutely dominant first map.
Spectacular.
That was just, that was out of the park for NoX Gaming. Moving into the second map now, Merciless Gaming is going to have to step it up because, woo! NoX seems to be on fire right now.
They are on fire right now. We didn't see anything too out of the ordinary. We didn't see any kitchen dining hold. We didn't see red tower holds. We saw pretty much standard play from NoX, which is not standard for NoX.
I suppose, but at the same time, it worked out great for them. Yes. I mean, if you're going to go with standard, you may as well do it spectacular like that. So
let's take a look at some of the highlights here as what a game it was for NoX.
Yeah, man. I just, again, I'm just like, I want to see, I got to see how Sexy Cake hit that shot, man. And it sucks that we're not going to get to. But some great highlights regardless moving into this match. This was Cyber here with that swift double kill to lock out round number 2. What a play from him. A lot of other players would have absolutely thrown that situation. It was good for him to not do that.
Yeah, it's kind of a, we'll call it a Cinderella story for Sexy Cake because he wasn't performing overly well previously. I think he had 1 or 2 kills on the board before that final clutch moment. So,
well, that was round number 2. So
yeah.
But overall, Cyber I think top fragged for the match for NoX Gaming. So he did a really good job there for his team.
I'm sorry. I was talking about Sexy Cake. Sexy Cake did not have the best because you wanted to see his final kill.
Right. And here's this trio from Sexy Cake. Oh, what great gunplay there coming out from him. He is definitely in love with that reflex sight. Most of the fantastic kills that he got was with the reflex. That was just great. Here's Boar not locking out that round. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe Boar did not lock out this round. I mean, you can't blame him though at the same time. He just got absolutely turned on. That was insane.
Yep. So with that is going to be map number 1 in the hands of NoX Gaming of this best of 3 series. Again, we're going to be moving on to map number 2, which is going to be NoX's pick actually on Consulate. So Consulate's going to be the second map. Third map, if we get to it, will be Clubhouse. However, let's head on over to Consulate and see these operator selections as we are getting underway with the game right now.
Yes, NoX going to be starting on attack. MG, Merciless Gaming that is, going to be starting on defense. Now, NoX Gaming looking to lock this out in a 2-0. They will be bringing the glass, but not the Jackal to the field here. It will be what I believe is a top floor defense starting things out here from Merciless Gaming. Yep, there it is, top floor. NoX Gaming, on the other hand, does not have a Blackbeard, which means that there might not be the same exact amount of angle holding coming out from that we're used to seeing on this particular attack. Usually what will happen on a top floor attack is the Blackbeard will position himself either on the A window or the B window, and that will be the pivot point for the rest of the attack.
What it looks like we might be seeing, though, is with Glaz and Buck coming into the mix, we might be seeing Glaz repelled onto either the corner office window or bathroom window, whatever it may be, connector, and then Buck playing from underneath, trying to take away some of the extra angles.
You are seeing those castle barricades and impact grenades utilized to open up those rotations as well as lockout angles, allowing the Merciless a lot more freedom of movement on the top floor.
And we're going to see the same camp come out from Navi's as we see from Nesk earlier on tonight. And it looks as though he saw the shots there onto Hugh, but did not land the ones that counted. He's going to walk away with a couple scratches on his side, but that's about it.
Yeah, and it looks like we are seeing NoX Gaming initially setting themselves up on the west side of the building, which leads you to believe that there will be a B bomb site take here coming out. But anything is possible. They could still make a rotation as they have done in the past.
Here is Cyber looking at connector window as well as the hop out onto the balcony.
He's basically just covering for Sexy Cake to rappel safely here. And that's pretty much the gist of this whole strategy. That's why he's all the way out. On top of this cop car, I believe that's the cop car he's standing on right now.
So we are having a couple moments of technical difficulty here inside of the map at the moment, I believe. So we'll keep you updated as much as we can. It is still going on as far as we can see. But what we saw there on round number 1, just to start it off, is something that looked fairly straightforward with the attacks. We saw the connector hold. We saw it looking like it was going to be a corner office yellow stairs take. And we'll see if we can get back into the game here momentarily.
Yeah, it seems like there was a player disconnection, and I think they're trying to figure out if we're going to be having a rehost or not right this minute. But regardless, yeah, no real surprises coming out in variation when it comes to the upstairs defense or the upstairs attack to start things off. And it will be a rehost. So, well, you guys hang out with us while we wait for that to come through.
Yes, but so with that being said, here on Consulate, we know top floor is going to be chosen. I believe it has to be chosen again. I don't know about the operators. Who knows? But whatever the case, was there anything? I mean, to me, there was nothing that surprised me about the attacking that happened there. We saw Glaz covering Ash, covering Sexy Cake being the Ash up on the connector window. We saw the rest formulating themselves on the corner office as well as yellow stairs. We didn't see a admin take, which is typically what we have seen in the past.
Yeah, the admin take is usually preferred by a lot of teams, and it really comes down to the fact that when you take admin, there's a big chunk of land that you can so easily attain as an attacker, which allows you to actually get your feet on the ground instead of operating from rappels, which is usually preferred by most squads, but if you can make it work from rappels, you can make it work from rappels, and it seems like that's what NoX was trying to do.
They were trying. Now, they didn't bring the Jackal that time. Instead, Sexy Cake hopped onto the Ash, and we saw the glass come out of the woodwork.
Yeah, glass being played. The operator selection made me think that they were setting up for an attack onto the basement. I don't think that that is really an upstairs attack squad.
Gotcha.
But I'm sure they very easily could have made it work for an upstairs attack, and it did seem like they had all their bases covered there. Glaz was being utilized in a very specific manner, being on top of that cop car all the way out by the front, covering those flanks. You know, you could theoretically put anyone with an ACOG on that role, but Glaz is very efficient at that, I'm sure. Repelling Sexy Cake onto that connector window. 3-speed operators repel quite faster, so you are able to maneuver and dodge those bullets. And in theory, that puts you at the advantage. I actually used to know a player, his name was Kush. He played for my squad way back in the beginning.
He was on my pro team as well.
Yeah, and he was probably the best Ash on rappel. Like if you put him on an Ash rappel, he would just move back and forth on the windows and kill anyone in the room to the window. So yeah, I mean, you can often make a 3-speed rappelling on a window very successful for your team.
Now, I just want to dig into rappels just for a moment while we're on the topic. Have you noticed a significant difference in rappelling right side up as opposed to upside down, and how exposed?
It changes your perspective. Like,
it does change your perspective, but from someone looking at the window wanting to shoot a target, shoot the person on the rappel, does it expose yourself any more or less, regardless of if you're upside down or right side up?
It really depends on how you position yourself.
Okay.
To be honest, obviously, if you're rappelling upside down, you're going to be playing on the top down, which is only going to expose your head. But that's not actually a good thing 9 times out of 10, because the majority of skilled players, they can hit that tiny little head, and it's not really that big of a deal. You know, usually if you're playing a Blackbeard, you'll do something that'll only expose your head. So you can rappel on the down from the bottom level, or you can rappel on the top, just all the way at the top of the window upside down. I mean, It really just depends on what operator you're playing and how you're trying to go about engaging that window. But as an Ashe, no, I wouldn't say that that's probably what you're going to want to go for. You want to you want to keep moving as much as possible. Whether it's up or down isn't really going to mean too terribly much.
All right, so we have that top 4 bomb site being chosen, and we will, like I said, guys, we did just a short rehost. There was a disconnection, and therefore the teams and admins, whoever it may have been, decided it was time for a rehost. So that was only the first round, which means that not much has changed. Still 0-0. We aren't going to see too much.
There wasn't really much of the round conducted anyway, so
we were still, I think, in the first minute to minute and a half.
Nobody died yet. No real big surprises that we got a rehost out of that. So we'll see exactly how things play out once we actually get back into the match.
Talking about on Consulate, we talked about how the admin push seems to be preferred by many due to the fact that you get your feet on the ground, and then you can start progressing and clearing out room by room by room. We didn't see that here on this attack phase. So in the absence of that, and knowing that, okay, you have to repel, how does a team successfully, I guess, make sure that their angles are clear, that they can repel and they can swing it? Because you are very vulnerable repelling.
They had a glass standing on a cop car outside, so
that was so you couldn't have someone jump out onto you. How do you, as an Ashe, make sure that it's all clear for you to repel into the site?
What do you mean?
Like so for example, we're saying, okay, you have to repel it. You don't have your feet on the ground. You have to repel into the site.
Yes.
You now have all these different.
He was on
angles.
connector window.
He was.
Yeah.
There's a lot of angles that you might not be able to see from connector windows, such as being inside of the middle of a site, the projector room. You've got the lobby that they could just be inside of. So the question is, where else does your team need to be to make sure that you can repel into the site if you don't have your feet on the ground?
Well, okay, so the Ashe who was playing on connector window just seemed like he was just trying to cut off a rotation. He was just trying to get some picks on the board. He probably would have repelled in at some point, but he can do that by himself through simple drone coverage, establishing if there's anyone by big desk or in A. Whereas the real presence into the site is likely to come from the yellow stairs, the bathroom, or the probably the B, just the B windows themselves. Once you pick apart the players who are holding B, whether it be a white stairs hold or an inside B hold, and I didn't quite get to see where that was. Sorry, not white stairs, yellow stairs hold or inside B hold. I didn't see where that which was coming out here. I think it was probably an inside B hold. But once you pick off that player who's holding inside the site, then you can start to pressure into the site. I mean, it's just a simple case of getting rid of that one player. Now, the dilemma is from the windows, you can't actually do that. There's a couple ways you can, but through grenades, but directly through gunfights. If the guy who's playing in B simply just doesn't challenge the angles, then he's basically invincible inside B. He just has to wait. If you're asking me how they were trying to execute that attack, I would say they were really just looking for angles, waiting for defenders to peek into them. That's it.
Well, we will have to let them tell us as we are getting back into the game here. We are still going to have the same operators chosen, the same bomb site. Actually, no, it looks like bomb site may have been changed up, going down to the garage.
Yeah, I guess that is going to be the case here for Merciless Gaming. They will choose Garage Cantina. And NoX Gaming will be bringing the same lineup, as will Merciless, I believe. For the most part, there is no castle on the defensive squad. Instead, now it's a mute. I guess you didn't really have to repeat anything whatsoever going into this rehost, I suppose. Kind of surprised by that, to be honest. But whatever the case be, Merciless Gaming still on defense, NoX Gaming still on attack, and now it will be the basement. We're likely to see from NoX Gaming a attack into the main garage wall before smoking it off with those glass smokes and then getting the diffuser plant. That might be repeated of what we saw on Oregon's just prior.
What we are going to see here, though, is not too much of a roam game. We are going to have, as I say that, there's actually 3 that are upstairs. I think Navi's is just going to try to get some cams out. We are going to see PX, though, and Midi navigate all the way to the top floor.
Yeah, very heavy roam game coming out from Merciless. Kind of surprising, to say the least. Oh, look at that. The feed is loading, which means there is new gameplay to show you guys, which means, hey, guys, how's it going? You can look at our lovely mugs again. How's it going?
We're going to get right back into the gameplay here. It was just a little bit of buffering going on from the Latin American stream, which we are rebroadcasting here from. So as we get underway, we are still having everything go on smoothly. We're about 30 seconds into the round right now. No action has happened. Just the attackers are getting into position for the garage basement hold, which NoX Gaming has chosen. Merciless Gaming has chosen.
Yeah, all in due course, we will get the gameplay right back up for you. And it looks like, hey, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with gameplay. Thank you for that, all you guys in the production.
Now, we do have Navi's who navigated off the top floor, moved down towards Circle Stairs, and he actually might catch Sexy Cake off by surprise, who's inside of the piano with about 3 health left to go before he gets taken out of commission. Looks like Garage has been opened up successfully. You just heard the explosion from below. Cybercake's going to use that glass sniper rifle, that SR, to finish off Boar's face, taking out the Bandit.
Yeah, that was Bandit trying to get aggressive onto the Thermite before Thermite could get off his second Thermite charge on the main wall. And he was unsuccessful because Cyber was ready to cover. Now the garage wall has been opened up in its entirety, and that means Merciless Gaming a man down and at the disadvantage given that the control has been established for the attackers over not only upstairs, but the main garage wall itself.
Now Novi's is going to be in position to get the attackers from NoX as they push into the site, because right now he has not been droned out. Instead, I believe it was RCK or maybe Midi that was droned out here. Now there's the drone finishing off Novi's, forcing him to relocate. Looks like Midi, though, taking that MP5K to finish off the shots there onto Hugzor, and then a trade coming out right away from I'm sorry, that's not Sexy Cake, that is Saya.
41 seconds now left to go, and NoX Gaming are marking for their teammates, trying to kill some of the defenders through the floor. Sexy Cake's going to pick off Navi's, and now a 2-on-4. The smokes will come down, but be Jaegered off from Cyber, and this is the diffuser plant that needs to happen. But RCK still has gas canisters.
And that gas canister is going to be finishing off Leipzig. No, it's not. He's actually going to sneak his way in to get the plant down. And as Cyber is going to try to go for these shots on RCK, he will miss every single one, but the diffuser does get successfully planted, and Saya coming in from behind to finish off RCK's face. Last man alive on Merciless is going to be PX. If he does not get this clutch, we will see this go into a 1-1 or 1-0 at the moment. So PX in a 1-on-4, this will go to NoX Gaming. Especially with Glass still being outside, a very open garage wall.
Yeah, he actually doesn't have time, I don't think, to kill 4 people and then defuse as well. Sexy Cake will finish him off here.
Yep, and there's the final moments. NoX Gaming securing round number 1.
Well played to NoX Gaming to lock that out. Now they have a lot of momentum after having won the first map. They won the first round of the second map, and they're looking to just carry that forward and finish off Merciless Gaming. We will be seeing NoX Gaming going on to defense now, and Merciless Gaming back on to attack, or well, actually on to attack for the first time. It was going to be a garage defense coming up from NoX, similar to what we saw from Merciless. There is no big surprises coming out on either of these two teams' rosters. The Twitch is just going to be used to open up that mirror window, as well as pressure onto the garage, just in case there is a bandit trying to active bandit trick. But yeah, not much to really talk about here. Let's talk about what happened on that last round. NoX Gaming, they took control over the roam game, the entire top floor. There was still a Jaeger roaming pretty deep, but unfortunately he was not in any position to help his team on the hold, and he didn't come back in time either to get any significant flank off. So that was basically null factor. The roam game that was happening from the defenders leading, or just in general on like the piano end of things, kind of fell, didn't win any of their fights. And then once NoX Gaming had established complete control over the roam game, picked off a few players, and then started and opened up the garage wall, it was pretty much cut and dry. I mean, you expect the attacking team to win in that situation. It would have been pretty amazing if Merciless Gaming had managed to come back after forfeiting all of that control at that point in the round.
Now that camera outside that we just witnessed on screen actually indicated to the majority of NoX that there looks like a push is going to come from the east side of the map, which is going to be that Visa office and server side push. I believe all members from Merciless started outside there.
Yeah, already a pretty good start for Merciless Gaming, putting it at a 5-on-4. And oh, hey, look at that. we're not going to have to come back to our faces. Awesome. So we will keep going here, ladies and gentlemen. We apologize for those just brief delays. It is just a factor of rebroadcasting. There's not a whole lot that can be done about it when you're sending a signal all the way from Brazil over to Poland.
Now that is Navi's unfortunately not able to come out on top of that engagement with Sexy Cake, so Sexy's still going to be alive inside of the corner office. Going to go for the peek there on the PX, but PX says no, and at the crouch shot will take off the head there.
So we did have a disconnect there, but a 3-on-3 will continue, I believe, as a lot of action has already taken place in this round, and I don't think that there is room for rehost in this situation, although we will find out in due course. NoX Gaming now 3-on-3. They still have a chance to win this round. There is the diffuser down way over in Visa, and Merciless doesn't look like they want to go pick it up right now. With only a minute left to go, they have to sort of situate themselves in a better position here and pick up the diffuser at some point before this attack can really take place. I think they're going for it now.
They are kind of stalling at the moment. It looks like they need to get some more information. They might not realize that everyone is on site.
I don't think they know that. I don't think they know that the diffuser is down, because it doesn't seem like they're making any attempt to get it right now.
They are not. They're actually going to forego that diffuser. No, you actually see right there. I believe that was PX going to hop on out to go to get it.
He didn't. He dropped down. Now that's 2 Merciless players dropped down now. Only player left on the Merciless squad who can get the diffuser is the Sledge, who is droning for his teammates right now. And if he drops as well, then the diffuser will not come with the Merciless squad.
He did drop. He's inside a server at the moment. Looks like Hugzorg will come out, take a couple bullets to the side, just try to waste as much time as possible. Wall's going to get up from behind, some ghost shots coming on through. Midi's going to tag onto 1. He's got 2 more to go. It's Leipzig and Cyber, last 2 alive here for NoX Gaming. They're going to throw some gas grenade. C4 is going to get tossed on out. 7 seconds, let's go. PX going to try to push it forward. He grabs the headshot. It's only up to Cyber now. He's just going to play the time game here. Gas grenade going to stop the shots there to go. Another kill down, but the catch from PX will go. And that's going to be the clutch here for Merciless. And we're going to have a 1-1 now.
That looked like it was going to be NoX Gaming's round. Abso-freaking-lutely through and through. The diffuser was down way, way outside. It was down to the last 15 seconds when the push came in from Merciless Gaming. But, fortunately, NoX lost engagement after engagement after engagement. And now we have a 1-1 scoreline like you talked about. What a fantastic round there from Merciless, despite, you know, ignoring the diffuser. Now, moving forward, we are going to be having NoX Gaming put back onto attack, Merciless Gaming back onto defense, and this time will be an upstairs defense. Merciless Gaming was unsuccessful in holding the basement, as both of these squads have been thus far. So upstairs will have to do. We'll see if Merciless is going to have any better luck up here. They're going to be putting that mirror window in the cafeteria, looking towards admin. Gonna be curious to see where the second mirror window goes down. Mirror's not the most useful operator on this particular floor. I reckon it's probably gonna go into the connector or facing towards the A bomb site. No, wow, look at that. It is actually going to be used on that bathroom wall, and I like that too, because the mirror window there, plus the bathroom wall being opened right in front of it, gives complete visibility to defenders playing in big desk towards Yellow Stairs. Also, more importantly, you can actually play at big desk because I believe they have a castle barricade on the B door that cuts off that line of sight for the attackers. Really great strategy on the set. Oh wow, some bad timing from Navi's to peek away from that. And he will get peeked down too from Cyber.
The reflex sight going up against a thermoscoped glass, not something you typically want to do.
Yeah, and here is Cyber getting back onto that truck outside. As you can see, let's see how he does this jump puzzle. Obviously, you can tell that he's done it before, as he's just messing it up right this minute. He'll get it eventually. There it is. Gets the jump puzzle. That's going to be him holding down the flank. And meanwhile, we are going to have the Thermite pick off Boar. And now a 3-on-5. It's looking pretty bad here for Merciless Gaming on this upstairs defense.
We do have one member from NoX Gaming going to be all the way on the top side. That's going to be Lipe, as he's got Diffuser there. It looks like he's just going to stay situated for the moment as he tries to drone out for the rest of the team. RCK trying to make sure that admin's still clear for the time being. That's exactly what he's looking forward to. Midi and PX going to be top floor as well. There are no more roamers, as Navi and Moore have both been taken out of commission.
Yeah, NoX Gaming, all they have to do really here in this situation is slowly exert pressure onto the defenders, and they will do just that. Midi being picked off as he attempts to relocate from his feeble position, and now it's all down to PX and RCK. Now it's all down to PX as RCK gets picked off by the glass. He's going to run out onto the connector and lose that fight against Cyber. Some great gameplay coming out from Cyber here to lock out that round.
A desperate attempt there as he goes to jump on out the balcony, and unfortunately, Sexy was already looking forward to it. Or Cyber. Sexy or Cyber?
It was Cyber.
Cyber.
And now 2-1 for NoX. It seemed like Merciless got a little bit lucky with the one round they did manage to win, and NoX is back to their old dominant self. However, it could be a case of it could just be a case of attackers winning outright, because we have not seen a defense win yet. We are going to be seeing NoX going back onto the defensive side of things here, so maybe if we see NoX mix things up and make that change happen, win the first defensive round, it'll be a 3-1 lead. They are going to be going, I believe that was down into the top floor. Down into the top floor. Yeah, down into the top floor. Sure thing, Kickstar. All right, we are going to have NoX Gaming defending the top floor, and they are opting to mix things up as well instead of trying to go into the basement and hammer that out. They were they were unsuccessful in their basement defense, but I honestly came down to a little bit, seemed like, of luck coming out for Merciless Gaming, as Merciless made a bunch of mistakes leading into their attack, and just NoX Gaming lost all the firefights. So standard mirror window, standard placement coming out here for NoX Gaming. There is no castle barricade, however, which means that they aren't going to be using that mirror window on the bathroom, similar to how Merciless had it set up, which, by the way, that was really cool, the way that Merciless handled that particular setup. I like how it covered all the different little bases. Unfortunately, it did not account for the repels on the windows, and that's one of the things that is really difficult as a defender, to have utility in place to counter that, is just repelling on windows. It's so easy for an attacker to just get onto the window and try to establish a line of sight onto anybody who's passing by that window. Try to get that pick off. Outside cameras coming out for NoX Gaming, and there is no IQ on the Merciless lineup, so these are going to gather quite a lot of information. I especially like this one here. Covers two sides of the building for one, as well as being hard to see.
I was going to say, it's cameras like that that make you want to pick an IQ each and every time.
And you are likely to see that going into ranked in the future, so ladies and gentlemen, take notes, write it down, take a picture, and look for that every time you go into Consulate moving forward.
I'm actually fairly certain that's been a cam that's been around for
it has,
a long time.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you know, pay attention, guys, because these cameras, they do come out in ranks. We are going to see Novi start things off here for Merciless, picking off Hug, and that's going to be a good start for Merciless, having now control over admin. This is what we talked about earlier, why it's, you know, you have that mirror window in the first place. It's because it's so hard to hold admin as just in general, but the Ash charge coming out, picking off the Jaeger is all that really takes, I guess, to counteract that mirror window.
Now the trade did happen onto Midi, so Midi will fall out of the mix here. A 4-4 still to go. Plenty of time left for MG, though, to try to get this attack in their favor.
Yeah, this is a very standard attack coming out from Merciless Gaming. This is a lot more like what we're used to, which is just take control of admin. Oh no,
ooh, and a team kill happening here from Sexy Cake onto Cyber.
What a shot from Sexy Cake. What happened?
I don't know. I think he might have just got happy feet a little bit.
Yeah, it's likely that is exactly what happened, because it wasn't a reset as it was a headshot, but whatever the case be, the flashbang's coming out to kill off Saya, as the push now will come out likely from Navi's.
Looks like Navi's going to take a couple bullets there as the main hall bullets will fly towards him. PXO gets the trade down onto Saya. He will fall. However, a double kill coming in from Novi's. He will take out Sexy Cake and Boar. Unfortunately, going to burn his own teammate to death. Novi's will fall in a 3-on-1 fashion. LifeSword, last man alive. He's going to be behind the corner office desk. Boar has been injured. PX and RCK, last two alive, in a position to get this going. Now a couple shots from PX and over to the side of this 3-armored operator of LifeSword. With Diffuser going down, looks like PX going to try to pick up Boar.
Yeah, you need to see from LifeSword here some more aggression, and he's just unfortunately trying to stall this out as long as possible, and on defense that doesn't really help. So it's probably going to be a round for Merciless Gaming here. A lot of mistakes coming out for NoX on that particular round, and it just seems like a bit of a slip-up of a round, but it happens to all teams.
Now we do have PX just going for a couple tap shots in through the hall, and as he goes for the shots, he will strafe long ways around the doorway and finish off LifeSword. That is MG securing this round.
Good kill there to lock things out. So, Merciless Gaming, their attack strategy was this. Take control over admin, push in through admin into the A bomb site after opening up the A wall, and get the defuse plant. Very common attack strategy, very much what we're used to seeing, and it worked out amazingly well for them in this round. A couple of mistakes again from NoX Gaming. I believe it was Cyber who got team killed by Sexy Cake. Cyber being that top frag. Obviously, you don't want to have him gone like that. And because of that, it was, him being off the board did result in a lot of pressure from NoX Gaming a lot of pressure onto Merciless Gaming being taken off. So now, Merciless Gaming defending the basement yet again. They were previously not very successful here. They lost this round, but now, coming onto it for the second time, they're going to try and change that. NoX Gaming are going to be bringing a similar lineup to what they had last time. A little bit of differences. I believe the Hibana was not there, although I could be wrong about that. They're going to be likely to attack into the garage wall, similar to how they did last time. But they also...
Right now, they do, I'm sorry to cut you off, but they will need in the next few moments to get this garage wall open or closed off. There's still a soft wall in garage.
They're probably going to reinforce that. I don't imagine.
I would hope so, too. I didn't see anyone around to do it, though.
Maybe they're just trying to, maybe there's a mirror window on it and they're trying to utilize it. Can't quite see from this angle. Nope, they got the reinforcement. There it is. I'm pretty sure we just saw it come down for the defending team. So no worries there for Merciless Gaming.
Bomba localizada pelos atacantes.
Unfortunate, a little bit of a disconnect there for Merciless Gaming. Looks like we will be having a rehost.
Now, with that being said there, we are going to, like I said, have a rehost here. It's going to be remade. It's 2-2 at the moment, even out. This is map number 2. And in this best of 3, we are looking to see if NoX is going to secure this map. Now, with Consulate being this map, we have seen bottom site being chosen on this turn. What sort of attack do you think we should be seeing, knowing that...
They're going to open up the garage wall, and they're going to try and lay down some fire while they simultaneously clear out all the roamers from the top floor down, which is what they did last time. That's probably what we'll see this time.
Oh, okay.
I mean, variations abound. They could do anything else, but if you ask my prediction, that's going to be it.
Awesome. Let's see here. So, what do we have to go on then? Is there anything that we have not talked about on Consulate that you want to talk about?
Well, for this match specifically, I'd say it's pretty interesting that we're not seeing any Blackbeard play. But Consulate's probably, if there's a map that's really friendly to Blackbeard, it's Consulate. So neither of these teams bringing Blackbeard to the board is somewhat surprising, to say the least. The Glass play coming out on the basement attack isn't really that much more surprising. I mean, like, he's not been seeing a lot of play in general, but the smokes make a lot of sense when you're attacking into a garage wall. So... other than that, no real shockers coming out on Consulate. Nothing that's been missed specifically. There's not been a lot of pressure onto the A balcony when an A attack is happening upstairs, which again is interesting. That's indicative of the fact that there is no Blackbeard. Like, despite the fact that Merciless won that last round, it could have been made so much easier and accelerated if there was a Blackbeard playing on the A balcony. There just wasn't. But other than that, no real big surprises. No real big anything missing.
I feel like we're seeing a difference though in the way that Merciless is playing this map as opposed to
the
lack of ability that we saw on their previous map.
Yeah, Merciless does seem to have much of definitely a greater grasp of Consulate than they did of Border. Border was a one-sided, extremely one-sided in favor of NoX Gaming.
Gotcha. Trying to think here for our third and final map, if we get to it, is going to be Clubhouse. Clubhouse is, like you said, kind of in previous seasons, of season 2 of year 1, season 3 of year 1, we've seen it reach its kind of peak of meta play, a peak of competitive play, where it kind of got all the way out and exhausted. We saw all the different kinds of takes, we saw all the different kinds of angles. Has there been room, with it not being as apparent recently, has there been room for more meta growth?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, previously the meta stalled out, and where it stalled out, Construction Tunnel wasn't being utilized at all. Then Glass became a thing, like a genuine competitive thing, and suddenly everyone's trying to attack through the Construction Tunnel. It's changed since then, but Anyway, that doesn't really matter. Here we are getting back into the match. You know, it's going to be NoX on attack and Merciless Gaming on defense. It's going to be basement defended yet again, and no real big changes coming out here. There's a Blackbeard, though, coming for...
You must have heard your cries for a Blackbeard play here.
Well, I mean, you know, personally, not a huge fan of him, but he is super good on this map. So yeah, there is a Blackbeard coming out for NoX Gaming, which is a little bit of a deviation from what we were saying previously. I wonder how they're going to try and utilize him here. He's not the, I mean, on this map, his best attack, or sorry, the best floor for him to be attacking is probably the top floor, and then secondarily the first floor. The bottom floor, I mean, I say he's still a Blackbeard, you know, he's still got a shield in front of his face. He's still going to be really useful on a basement attack. However, and not nearly as much as he could be on, like on the A balcony on a top floor attack. We've seen that specific attack strategy utilized and very effectively time and time again by multiple different teams. Yeah, so you're going to see more than likely NoX start to clear out those roamers, and then once they've cleared out the roamers, it's going to be a case of opening up the garage wall. Once they've got the garage wall open, and they're going to lay down some smokes while they still have piano control, get the diffuser plant, and lock out that round, or, if I mean, assuming everything goes their way.
And we do have 3 roamers, as we called out earlier. It's going to be Navi, Midi, and PX.
You also see a lot of those Valkyrie cams are very much centered around the top floor to assist those roamers, which means they're very invested in, Merciless Gaming is very invested in maintaining control over the top floor and not forfeiting it to NoX Gaming, which is going to be, there is some mute charges, as you can see there on the main garage wall, and because there is no Thatcher, you can see LifeZord, he's just trying to find a spot on the wall that isn't covered by the mute jammers.
It looks like Hugzord will be spotted out there inside of the hallway by the bathroom, and that means Boar might have a C4 toss he could get up there if he needs to. We did see Navi, though. He was trying to contest the piano room, and unfortunately, though, he will have to navigate back down onto site. Floor is going to get opened here, up here by Sexy Cake here momentarily. As it does, it looks like Garage has also managed to successfully be breached. Nade's going to go flying on down. Navi's just feeling a little bit scared at the moment. He's going to have to renegotiate where his positioning is. Hugzord, as he peeks on around, will be picked off from below by Navi's quick action. Looks like Navi takes a few bullets to the side there, as I believe that was Saya trying to rotate around to pick up the trade.
So while NoX Gaming have a lot of control here, they also are a man down, as the bullets went in the opposite direction as you were to expect to see through those buckholes. The smokes are coming down from Glaz, but the gas canisters to counteract might be able to stall out this defuse plant. The C4 is going to go down and will not pick off LifeZord. The diffuser is going to go down here.
Very successfully, Sexy Cake going to take that that Blackbeard assault rifle onto the face of PX, finishing him off. RCK, though, will get the trade there on the Blackbeard. Now, LifeZord has been injured, but the diffuser was planted successfully. In a 4-on-2 now, because Life will not be able to get picked back up without endangering the welfare of that diffuser. Now we will see Cyber try to, or sorry, that is Saya pick up that kill into Midi. Another kill there on the Novies, and that is Cyber drastically improving the odds of winning this round in a 2-on-2 now. We do have Saya here. He's going to be, looks like above, trying to hold on to that diffuser. Another shot coming in from the glass. He's going to get a 3rd kill. No, a double kill as Saya picks up from above. Cyber choosing that 3rd kill wisely under the head of Boar. And that is round number 5 going to NoX Gaming.
Cyber is just dominating throughout this particular map. He had, I believe it was 7 or 8 kills before the rehost. And now he's probably got upwards of 10. So, nope, okay, he's got 2, which means it's probably about 9 or 8, whatever the case be. He has been really doing great work for his team throughout this particular matchup. Now, 3-2, like you talked about, NoX Gaming. They are the team who won map number 1, and we are on map number 2. Previously, it was Oregon. NoX Gaming came out on top, and it was dominant, to say the least. Merciless Gaming now fighting for their chances in this particular matchup. Need to bring this to map number 3. They are going to be attacking onto a top floor defense coming out from NoX. Merciless Gaming, see how they choose to address this. They were successful on this last time NoX went to this particular defense. However, you could say it was due to the fact that NoX made a lot of really significant errors, such as team killing one of their teammates for seemingly no reason. And Merciless might not have that luxury moving into this next round. There's also the fact that the mirror window facing towards the admin office was so easily nullified by simply an Ash charge. And not only was the window nullified, but a kill came out for the Ash onto that Jaeger.
Now it looks like they won't have the mirror at all, as there is no mirror on the defensive squad this time around, which could be less of a quote-unquote distraction for NoX Gaming.
Yeah, they're just trying to adapt and, you know, just go into, you know what we're doing right now, guys? We're winning our fights. So let's take more direct fights. Let's not focus on that mirror play.
The last time we saw some direct fights happening here inside of the admin, it did not bode well for the defenders.
No. Usually holding admin directly is pretty difficult. I mean, that's why we saw that mirror window. But at the same time, it is entirely possible for the defending team to win that fight. It's just, again, it's a challenge. The guys who are rappelling on that crossfire have such an advantage over you in that all they need is one of their teammates to drone you out, and then they'll just pre-fire. It looks like we are seeing just that happen. RCK, excuse me, is going to go ahead and drone out this bandit, which is going to make calls to Novi on that Ash, who's going to go for the pre-fires, but the drone does get destroyed, so maybe not. Meanwhile, Saya's all the way down in the server room, trying to get some C4s in all likelihood on anyone who's progressing into Visa.
Now, Sexy Cake did draw the attention of Novi as well as a few others. So with that being said, I think we have Hughes still able to get inside. He's going to grab the double kill there on the PX and Navi's, and another repel almost happening there for Boar. It looks like Sexy Cake's going to scare him off the window right now as the flashbangs go flying in. Boar just going to lay down a couple shots. Now, unfortunately, Sexy Cake wanted to jump out, but he can't vault out the window. This is where you take that fire arrow and you say, let's burn him.
Yeah, learn something new every day about window vaults. Hype Swords, meanwhile, will kill off
Ooh, a good shot there. That's going to be 3 kills there for the Jaeger for Hugzord, and another kill coming out from Sexy Cake. Last man alive is going to be RCK. He is repelled on that northeast window, the east window here of admin.
This would be probably one of the greatest clutches of all time, and it's not going to happen. Sexy Cake's going to lock that out, picking off RCK. Good kill there by Sexy Cake. Good round overall by Sexy Cake. Good round as a whole by NoX Gaming. They denied control over admin, and that's all she wrote.
Like I said, that was the hard counter to the admin push, which ultimately we don't see too much of. And after looking at that defensive hold, you got to ask yourself, why not?
Right. Well, it was a bit of a mistake, a couple of mistakes here and there from Merciless Gaming, but I think those mute jammers coming into the admin, denying a lot of information to those drones in the admin itself, really did play a huge part in the survivability of the players inside admin, which allowed NoX Gaming to win out that round and now put themselves in the lead 3-2. They will be thrust down onto a basement attack yet again, as Merciless Gaming go downstairs.
I'm sure it's 4-2.
I'm pretty sure it's 4-2 too. Yep, there it is. I was just expecting, honestly, I thought it would be updated actively. My bad, my mistake, guys. I was reading the words as they were written. Now, NoX Gaming on match point against Merciless Gaming. All they need to do is win one more basement attack, and they've had really good luck here in the past. Likely to see NoX Gaming do very similarly to how they have in the past, which is take out the roamers, clear out piano, establish dominance on the vertical game, smoke it up, get the defuse plant in front of black car, and walk outside after the defuse plant has been placed and finish off the round, which is, you know, exactly what happened last time. Why would they change that? There wasn't a good attempt at a retake coming out from Merciless Gaming, and unfortunately, it really just came down to the fact that the gas canisters and the C4 did not stop the defuse plant. Ooh, this C4 is very ambitious. Not going to find anybody on the NoX Gaming lineup. And Novi's now has been a little bit defanged, so to speak.
Now, it looks as though Hugzord might be spotting up Navi's there in the corner or the connector window, but instead, he's going to take a quick peek, work his way back down the circle stairs, and I thought he might be seen here. No, the door has been opened up, but he has been spotted out by Hugzord.
He's very aggressive right now, just looking for opportunities to kill a player or two before getting taken out.
Looks like there is going to be some valuable intel, though, coming out from Midi. He's going to call out one member from NoX outside by the left side of the main door to lobby. That's going to allow Navi's to go. Oh, he wasn't originally droned out, but now he will be by 2 drones, and his gunshots are going to be detected.
This aggressive play from Navi right now is super dangerous, and it looks like he's going to be backed up by his teammates, but Navi's will get taken out before the trade can come in. The C4 from Midi.
Oh, he wants to toss it.
Oh, no.
He should have tossed it.
And now I think it might be just too late.
No, he's going to snag the kill. However, the Claymore kill on the board will finish him off. The C4 kill that we just saw Midi toss out is very successful in taking out Hugzord.
And that's going to mean that there won't be any buckholes.
Correct, and I believe we just heard Garage get opened up. A 4-on-3 here. Constant pinging of RCK. They now know that you've got the smoke behind the white van. PX now going all the way topside. He might be able to come around for a very successful flank, but it's going to have to be timed perfectly. 55 seconds on the board to do so.
Yeah, Merciless Gaming, they've got a lot on their plate here. All that we really need to see from NoX for them to lock this round out and bring it to a map number 2 victory is to smoke it up again, get that defuse plant right in front of the black car, and that's all she wrote. The gas canisters are coming out. There's still 36 seconds left to go, though, for NoX Gaming.
Now, PX is going to have to make his push here in the next 10 seconds if he wants this to be a successful flank. Because you cannot wait for NoX to drop all the way down. Sexy Cake is going to swing his way down the yellow stairs right behind Midi. He's going to catch Midi's rear and ultimately finish him down. The perfect timing for that. Now, PX will have to come down immediately. It might be a little bit too late for him already. RCK is about to be taken out of commission with that SMG-11. He will drop out Flight-Door, but there he goes, getting traded off. PX, he has wasted his time. He's gone too slow. And Diffuser is going to get planted here by PX.
Oh, he's looking to stop the Diffuser.
Yep, right there's the final moments. NoX Gaming will come out on top of this series, of this map, and ultimately, they will go on to try to keep their position and get into the playoffs in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, well played there for NoX Gaming. Merciless Gaming just seeming to be having a really hard time of it today. Unfortunate to see NoX Gaming coming out on top in that 2-0 fashion. Very dominant performance there.
Yeah, so congratulations to NoX Gaming winning this best-of-3 series over